Good to see you again today. Well, good to see the camera. I know you're on the other side. So let's begin. I've got, well, here's a thought. You know, these are not pre-recorded. They may be online, but what we're doing is this is live, and I don't have a lot of preparation. So it comes down to the last minute we're starting, and I'm thinking, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And I'll think of some TKM things. You think there's a few TKM things on there? I think so. But, you know, other stuff, current events, this, that, or the other. And I think, well, there's this. And then when it comes time, the closer it comes time to, boom, beyond, I just come flooded with all these different things. I say, there is no way we can talk about all that. But let's start. Okay, so current events. Everything is upside down and crazy. Does that cap it off? So this starts out with a lot of things. It's been eroding our society for a long time. You know, we have the opposite of things. There's also the politically correct, which just cringes me that to even hear the term or somebody insinuate such a thing. So politically correct is what actually erodes things. But you know what? It started with politically correct and some other things, and then we start challenging everything and what you can't say, what you can say, what's appropriate. So this is a lack of understanding. This is, can I just say whining? This is whining. So you remember when, I know you know all this, you remember when good, you know, like something happens, oh, that's good. And then it went to, oh, bad. And you're like, do you mean that's bad as in not good? Oh no, I say bad because that's good. That's insane. You're turning everything upside down. We've stolen many words and terms, you know about them, through time, and it gets to be now where we're changing all these things so fast it's ridiculous. You know, and like, you know, and when you start out a conversation and you say, you know, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know unless you say so, and then I'll know, and then we'll both know what you know. So don't expect me to know unless you tell me, you know? All right, so politically correct is a disease that not only erodes a nation, but society itself. It's terrible. You know, some of the things that have happened, I'm going to promote critical thinking over and over and over. Let me give you something else that started to erode because people don't like things. What is this? This is 2020. What marks this as 2020? Yeah, everybody's familiar with the terms BC and AD, right? What is BC? Before Christ. What is AD? Anno Domini. So what is that? That's in the year of our Lord. That's how we mark the calendar generally over the entire globe through history since Christ. What is it pointing to? The truth. The truth, whether you like it or whether you're not, whether you agree, whether you don't. It's kind of like gravity. You can deny gravity, but you can't get around the truth of gravity. So what started a change? Because now everywhere you look, you see BCE and CE. What do you mean BCE and CE? Well, before common era. Now let's use critical thinking. Before common, what's the common era? What's the commonality that makes that era marking of time and history? And then CE is actually common era. Well, they're all pointing to the same thing, Christ, but the whole reason for BCE and CE is to remove Christ, to remove the Lord, just like what you see happening everywhere. And once you start removing the truth, then all the lies reign. I don't know, should I add to that? So that started long ago in 1708 by a Jewish scholar. Isn't that ironic? That's so ironic. It was popularized because it didn't go over very well at all, okay? It was popularized in the 20th century. But in the last decade, if you'll notice, documentaries, specials, what you read, everything else, it's taken over. What? anti-Christ. That's what's taken over. And if you say anything about, well, we just want to be, you want to be what? You want to be anti-Christ. So let's get politically correct in our terminology. So what is the, pardon the pun, the sole purpose to do away with Christ? The sole purpose? Okay, so I hope you got that. There's a lot more we want to touch on. I'm not going to give the other stuff because it's insane. Let me give you an example. Up in Washington State, in Seattle, where the anarchists that call themselves whatever, and the mayor that has been sniffing the laughing gas, or more likely been paid off, or whatever it is that's going on with the corruption, that imagine that the entire nation was like that 6-block area. You can't have ambulance come in, you can't have firemen come in, you can't have police come in. And what are they having there? They're having all kinds of crimes. It's nothing about peace or love or order, or that they are able to handle things on their own. They're just little children rebellion with anarchy. So if you had that everywhere, it'd be the demise of everybody involved. Enough said. Let me give you an example. There's a small ancient town on the seashore in Israel, without naming names. It is very, very unique. It's, fit your mind around this, you know? So Jews and Arabs that live there get along like loving neighbors, loving family. Not like neighbors, not like family, loving. Something more telling about the peace, and most of all the joy, and the point of what makes the difference is the word called respect. Respect there is no police. You walk around, you film, you check things out. There's no police. It's nothing against police, because we need police. We need them because we don't know how to have respect, love, peace, or anything else. So they have no police. They have nothing against police whatsoever, not one iota. That totally defies the reason that they don't need police. They have no police because they have respect for one another. They would not do anything against one or the other of their neighbors. It doesn't mean they go across town or they go to another block. They respect each other. That's awesome. So why is there no police? There's no crime. They respect each other. Love and especially respect make the difference. Wow, what a concept. What was that about? Christ? Yeah, that's his message. So let's talk about the COVID. There's a thing called a resurgence, and there are a certain group, let me just call them globalists. Isn't that interesting about globalists? Okay, so part of the plan there is to do away with the older generation, the elders of society in this nation and around the globe. Ironic, again, is who are the biggest leaders in this, the wealth behind it? They're the older generation. They're the elders, want to do away with the others. Yeah, it's insane. It's just insane. So anyway, don't worry about COVID. Don't get caught up in the news and everything else about a COVID resurgence. First, remember everything that has been talked about, the things that I have said, the virologists, the statisticians, and all the people other than the bent media and everyone else, that there's a ploy. There's a ploy. Use critical thinking. Now, is there COVID? Yes. Is there a virus out there? Yes. Is it killing some of the most valued part of society? Yes. But the majority of what you hear is not COVID. They're calling the flu. You've heard me talk about this before. You've got the numbers from people. It's, if you have the flu or anything else, and in some situations, if you die and didn't even have a cold, they're marking it as COVID. But I'm talking about people that have some type of viral infection. You got a slap of COVID. Well, they say, well, we did the antibody test. Well, you know what? I've got over 6 strains of, I can't use the word COVID, so we'll say coronavirus. And we test for that. And you know what? The majority of the people that I test and that have tested over the years have a low level of coronavirus exposure. So of course, if you do an antibody test, most people are going to come up with that. We talked about that before, but they're using it for their agenda. So what we got to do is do the right thing, and I'm going to narrow it down. Concerning TKM, the 3 sequence. So we got the immune recipe, we got all types of things, and all the experts have said all you got to do is an immune modulation, and it's enough to kill the virus. So what in TKM is going to be a powerful immune modulator? The 3 sequence. It has a prerequisite of the 15 sequence. If you don't know about this, then I talk about this in lecture number 3, the informational shorts, which is on, not shorts as in short video, okay? So informational shorts are on our website. If you go to, what is that? Resources, and then go to the video, and what you'll see down at the bottom of the drop-down menu, informational shorts. You go to that, and actually all the videos that I could find to put online, they're online now. And it talks about the 3 sequence and why, and something very, very special. What's included in that video is a very, very special 3 application. It will work if you have nothing else for this virus. But for any other virus, any other flu, any other immune modulator, anything where you need a very powerful boost for your immune system. Well, how powerful could it be? Let me give you another correlation that we mentioned in another lecture. There's a lot of information in these lectures. There was a lady that was being studied as she's seeing the doctor and being tested. And to make it short, the statement is, your blood is naturally replaced at this rate. And she did TKM, which was kidney sequence, and her blood was replaced in her body 15 times faster. 15 times faster. So if anybody's going to think or try to tell me what can't be done, you're talking to the wrong person, you know? So imagine if you're doing the most powerful thing in all the books and all the applications and all the understanding that we have of TKM for a broad spectrum across the board for the immune system. Number 3. So look at the lecture number 3 to get more information about that. What else? If you want something else, this is what we talked about also. Immune Boost 19. Now, you have to use critical thinking, because I can't say the other word, but I do say Immune Boost -19. So there's an A and B. One is to help boost the immune system. The other is a reverse spin on those viruses. And we have had a number of people use that, including doctors, medical doctors. Oh, H2O. It's also a very good thing to have all the time. Medical doctors contacting us saying they've got the virus, what do we do? I just told you, A and B. And I also told you about the 3. I'm going to tell you one more thing. The other thing that is natural, that is the big guns. Let's take a scenario that we have an elder of an elder of an elder. You got somebody in their 90s or a little over 100, and they may have some pre-existing conditions. And if they're around 100, you know that they're not like they were when they were a teenager. So it could be very critical if they got COVID-19. If you don't have what many doctors are not giving, which is proven around the world in all countries and for decades to work, that was used back in Vietnam for all the soldiers, is the hydroxychloroquine. But the thing is, they're not giving it. I asked a lady at a store. She had her scrubs on, and so I just politely, she's standing right there. Oh, are you attached to a local office, or are you attached to a hospital? I said, oh yes, the Scottish Rite Hospital down the street. I said, just curious, can I ask you a question? If somebody came in and you found that they had COVID-19, what do you do? Do you give them hydroxychloroquine or anything? She says, oh, no. We test them. And if we do the temperature and everything, it seems like the symptoms, we'll do a swab, find out they got COVID, refer them out. They don't treat anybody in that hospital with COVID. I said, well, where do you refer them? I don't know. I'm telling you, the buck is being passed, and I do know of other people that get diagnosed and they're told to quarantine yourself, and they get no treatment. Don't get me started. Now, the country is in an uproar because of a horrible thing that happened. But let me ask you a question. If our elders, our most should be respected, revered people that have lived longer than the rest of us on this planet, to have experience and information to pass on to us, that get sick, we shouldn't tell them to go in the room and shut the door. We're not going to visit you and don't come out until you die. I think that's called murder. Don't get me started. Okay, so if you don't do what has shown to work and you don't have the A and B and you don't know the sequence, if you're looking at an urgent situation, I've talked about this in the videos before, I would say C herb, multi-dose C herb, contact us before taking it. We don't sell it, you get it online. Do not experiment with it, take a super micro dose. What is a micro dose? All right, so let's say, see the pin is not up there. So now there's the plastic, I'm gonna put that up there. The amount that's sticking out, that is a maximum amount to take. You put it in a capsule and you take it. It's strictly herbal, it's natural, and typically you'd only need 1 dose, and that's it. Typically knock it out in 24 hours. How do you know? Used it. Okay, so it's specifically designed for cancer, and I'd like to talk more about it, but it's on another video. Check the videos out. Very, very important. Let's get on to some story here. This is a very interesting story. Let me just read it to you. Thanks for the prompt and honest response to my friend's liver cancer. We pray together every couple of days. Doesn't seem like the Lord is directing him to Texas yet. He's not feeling enough pain yet to see the urgency of action. He's still stuck on MD's words and potential experimental treatments. And will insurance pay? Can't tell you how many times I've heard that. Meanwhile, 6 weeks have passed and the MDs say that more than half of his liver is down. I keep urging him to dialogue, but haven't gotten him to contact you yet. Now here's the part that I wanted you to hear that he said. The more I deal with people on this level, the more I marvel. Why would God be so good as to lead my family down this bizarre path of TKM and the King Institute? Why would simply touching the sick be a cure beyond man-made medicine and conventional wisdom? Why are others so stuck in chasing symptoms and masking problems with false security and emotion? How can Dr. King be so patient, so steadfast in the face of so much active and passive opposition? How come our world has strayed so far from his simple word, his saving work, and his sovereign will? All we like sheep really have gone astray, spiritually, physically, intellectually, and emotionally. The babe in Bethlehem will have to solve this mess. No one else can. Thank you, Fred. That was awesome. I thought I'd bring that out here. Hope that's okay with you. It's so good. It's true. It's true. So there is a number of things. This one I'm going to hold for you. So do you have time for a commercial? Yes, let's do a commercial. So we have a book here and there. So this one is called Wonderfully Made. This is $49.95, and it is awesome. You don't have to have had any other classes. I mean, come on, the picture itself, you gotta have that. So this is something that was worked on very thoroughly and is very, very important for what? Providing help for the complexities of preconception, conception, pregnancy, delivery, premature babies, infants, and toddlers, birth to 3 years old. It's called Wonderfully Made, a guide to help parents and parents-to-be. So what we have is our most common requested book, and we're going to be doing some sales. I'll get to that some other time, another lecture. This is the self-help book. No matter what is said, promos, anything else that is done, this has always been the #1 seller since it was first written. I know the author, I know. So that continues to be, but remember, this is the smallest, easiest, most simple aspects of TKM to apply. Don't underestimate them, but it is often the starting point for people. And I agree with that. I understand that completely. This is very important. This comes back to cleaning. So we waited about 2.5 months or so to get this, and I talked about this before. This is HOCL. We make this at the highest quality from the highest quality equipment that we could get and waited a long time for it. What we couldn't get is the spray bottles to put it in. So we do have these in stock. So these are the 16-ounce amber bottles. You can put some in a sprayer. Now this ranges anywhere from other prices out there that would probably be a lower quality and made with I don't know what kind of equipment. This is a savings of anywhere from $8 to $37 plus. And that's what we want to keep it to. We want to keep it under the market of everything else. So this is $42.95, $42.95 for a 16-ounce. It is awesome. Go online and find out about HOCL. Can I just read the bottle to you? 100 times more efficient sanitizer than bleach. Now this is natural. It's not a bleach. It's not any type of relation to bleach. Natural and family safe. Can replace all chemical sanitizers. Apply to clean any surface quickly and effectively. Kills viruses on contact. If surfaces need to be dried, wait 15 seconds, then wipe. No alcohol is in it, and it may be diluted as much as 10 to 1. So it's not just 16 ounces. This could be diluted 10 to 1. What is HOCL? It is a powerful oxidizer naturally occurring in humans, specifically in white blood cells, specifically in neutrophils. Is what comes out of your neutrophils to clean your system, part of your immune system. Use this non-irritant to clean better and without harsh and toxic chemicals. It is biodegradable, 100% safe for nursery, skin, produce. You can spray it on and consume it. You don't have to wash it off. Great for surfaces and pH balanced. Okay, there's the commercial. We got some really good stuff here to talk about. I had to remove the scope. And if any of this is really getting to you, just remember our little buddy. Because when things really get to you, he is there to help out, right? So he is still around with us because he's still a great benefit. I have some other great things here, but I want to talk about this for now. I have been asked recently about, I don't understand where the pulses are and where, meaning I don't understand how to apply all the things that are in the books, 1, 2, 3, and 4, self-help, everything else, into the pulses. So here's the pulses. Index, middle, ring, right, left. You know about this for pulses. I'm going to give you a quick rundown here. We already know about the organ energy. 5th stratum, 3rd stratum, 4th, 2nd, 1st, 6th. So we have the 2 organ energy in each one. Yes? Descending, ascending. You know that we have the energy spheres involved. I need something to point with. Okay. It helps me mentally. So what are the energy spheres involved? Well, in 1st stratum, we know it's 1 through 4. They're involved here. In 2nd stratum, 5 through 15. In 3rd stratum, 16 through 22. In 4th stratum, it's the 23. In 5th stratum, we've got 24 through 26. We know that 10 of them are in 2nd. So what is here? We're sharing. 5th has a 26, but it's also sharing an aspect of it with 6th stratum. So that's there as well. So we're seeing what correlations? We're seeing emotional level. This also deals physically with the chest level of the body, ascending and descending. And then the waist level of the body, and mental. What do you mean? Any and all mental projects. Then there's the HIP level and any and all physical projects. Now these are basics that you understand even going through the introductory level 1 and 2 class. Is that right? Is that right? Okay. So we have more things. There are other aspects to this because we see that the 13 sequence, even though the 13 is in second stratum, 13 helps descending chest level. You say, well, how will I know all that? I'm showing you. We teach it in the class. It's accumulated. I had to stop. This looks like a collage in a pretty mixed up way. There's a lot of stuff I couldn't put on here, but everything is here. The point is, there are 144,000 functions laid up here. And every application in TKM and all the books are here available. So the 10 is for the ascending side of it, just like we see the 14 and a 9, the 15 and a 2. We also have what? The letting go, exhale is all the descending side. How a person is breathing. Any projects, whether they're emotional, mental, or physical projects, or a disease, then you see these patterns. When the flip side of that, the ascending, is inhale. But there's an emotional side too. Exhale deals with letting go. Inhale deals with the ability to receive. Most people have a problem, if not with both, with one or the other. And that begets an imbalance that throws everything off. So going through, do we have more correlations? Yes. You see, respiratory deals with this entire level. Respiratory, colds, cancers, deals with this entire level. What level? Chest level. Digestion, vision, joints, deals with this entire level. What else? Pain, numbness, the flip side. Elimination projects, elimination physically, mentally, emotionally. Elimination projects are hip level, all the way across. Do we have other correlations? Yes, we talked before in another lecture, the ectoderm relates to chest level. Now it has a different twist. You see chest level is second stratum and fifth stratum, but this is relating to first and second. It layers over. What do you mean? Well, remember how we did the hand in that lecture? And we talked about the stratum correlations to energy spheres to the fingers, like thumb has 1 through 4, but, and ring finger would have 10 of the energy spheres because of second stratum. But if you move the stratum aspect and just look at what energy spheres relate, you have a different perspective, and you got 5 for each one of those. So there are multi-layers that go on here. Don't let it confuse you. There are charts and references to all of these things and how to apply them. What about the chapter in the book that talks about R&R, like R&R 5th, R&R 3rd, R&R 4th? Well, you see where it fits. That's pretty simple. What about the special function energy? That one that you need an immediate change. There's phenomenal things like SFE first stratum, the right sequence. That's what has successfully, every time that I have used it, every time that I have ever heard of from doctors, lay people, mothers, it has worked every single time. For what? Acute appendicitis. That means you don't do something and you do it long in therapy until, no, you need help right now. So it's for an immediate change on the physical level, now. So you see where the SFE fits in here. It's all over there. You also see things like median level also relates to 10s. Supervisor level also relates to 14s. So 10s are up here, and 10s are here. And 14s are here, and 14s are here. And mediator is 9s. 9s are waist level, deals with this, and you also have a 9 in here. All surface, side, and all deep opposite. That's what supervisor pathway helps. So you're seeing this in the pulses. In other words, if you see supervisor need, let me explain it this way. And you see all one side I'm going to use this as surface and this as deep. So all one side having needs means all three of these are in need of help. And then on the deep, all three of these are needing help. You're seeing an opposite. Then that means supervisor is needed. And which one do you do? You do the one that's deep. That's the primary one. So if all surface on one side and all deep on the other side is in need, you do the supervisor for that one. Let's say this one, if I'm checking someone's pulses, then my left is on their right. That would mean they need right supervisor. I know you got this memorized. It's all here and so much more. What about the methods of correction? We have first mock, that's for all chest level. Second mock, that's for all waist level. Third mock, hip level. And there's so many other things we've talked about. You have fifth and third stratum in relation to shoulders. The OFT, that helps everything. Respiratory, just like we said here, is all for chest. There is so much vital information here. Now, mediator, kind of like we were talking about with supervisor, what do we see in pulses that points to that? If you see, again, like you're checking pulses, and this is surface and this is deep, if you see surface and deep needing help all on one side, that's mediator. That side mediator. Fascinating. And there's much, much more. Let me give you another one on TKM. I know we're running short. Stroke. 2 priority applications. I don't have room to write it, so I hope you're making notes. Number 1, the 16, 17, 18, 19 sequence, which is noted to help correct and prevent critical issues. So I always thought I was going to give you some extra TKM nuggets. Here they are. The second one is the 5, 6, 7, 8 sequence. The energy spheres begin with third stratum. That's the 16, 17, 18. 16 is the first one in third stratum, 16 through 22. So this sequence involves most energy spheres in third stratum. It works on and is vital for mediator energy and pathways. The 17, 18, 19 are formed from the 3s. Very important. The 16 is synonymous with thumbs. 16 is also great for scar tissue. It's also great for the upper eyelid. So upper eyelids, think 16. Migraine headaches, think 16. It also helps clear the head. I want you to follow through with this because some of the things I'm mentioning are going to come back to what I started with. Stroke. So let me give you a quick step for voice conditions. A quick step is 16 and opposite 19. 16 and opposite 19. Most important to note, here's the punchline. If a person has a stroke and the 16, 17, 18, 19 sequence is applied properly and thoroughly within 24 hours, they will completely return with no paralysis. This is the same principle I talk about on many, many other things, that the faster you get to some injury, incident, no matter what it is, and apply the TKM to get the body to restore back to normal, the more phenomenal results. One of the most extraordinary ones I've seen is actually with autism, because autism is a very, very long chronic project. But we have had the experience of addressing it right after, within a week, and had 100% recovery in a short period of time. And autism was not of question or borderline. This person was gone, right after the vaccines. We have pictures, we have experts that have their analysis and everything else on this. So yes, the faster you get to it. Same thing about this virus going around. When you first feel symptoms, go ahead and treat as though it could be, not with fear, but with wisdom. Go ahead and treat it as though it might be, so that you can knock it out real quick. I will have more for you next time, because there's things that I didn't get to. As I said, when we get close to this starting, I have all these things that flood in. So we need to talk about this. We need to talk about this. So again, we looking for your comments and suggestions, and we hope that you are all safe, respect one another, love one another, be at peace, and praise God that He reigns. In Jesus' name. So be well, and we'll talk to you. Be well, and we'll talk to you next week. But I have one more note, and that note is that we're going to be doing this every 2 weeks now. Every 2 weeks. God bless. Bye-bye.